Family Creeps presents The Shadow Man, written by The Dark Diggler, narrated by The Dark Diggler. I'm writing this message on this forum because I'm desperate and need help. I don't know what to do or how to deal with this dark entity I dubbed The Shadow Man. I was living in the Bronx, New York, in a 2-bedroom apartment with my mother and my younger brother. I was 7 years old and my brother was 5. I shared a room with my little brother, which I hated. Being from a single-parent home, money was tight, needless to say, so having my own room was out of the question. Things were pretty normal until a cold January night. It was a regular Thursday night. We just finished up dinner and my brother and I went to our room to shower and change into our PJs. I threw on my Spider-Man PJ, my brother had Batman. We sat in our room. I read a few of my comics and little bro played with some of his action figures till about 9 p.m. "Time for bed, boys," my mother said as she walked into the bedroom. "Good night, boys. I love you." "Night, Mom. Love you more," my brother and I said in unison. She kissed us both and walked out of the room and closed the door. It wasn't long before we both fell fast asleep. In the middle of the night, it got really cold enough to where it woke me. For a moment, I thought maybe I left the window open. I rolled over and noticed the window was closed. Weird, I thought. Why is it so cold? I decided to get up and grab a sweater. I sat up and saw the door open slowly. "Mom?" I called out softly. I rubbed my eyes and saw a dark figure standing in the doorway. It moved into the room slowly. It didn't have legs. It was tall, with what looks like a top hat on. From the figure body top, it looked like a male. I felt pure terror. My body froze. I tried to call my brother, but I couldn't talk. The words wouldn't come out of my mouth. It didn't speak, but I can feel the evil inside of this entity. It moved close to me. I began to shake. The temperature dropped to the point I can see my own breath. It reached out to me. I felt the cold hand on my face. I was pushed down on the bed and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I felt the weight of this entity on top of me. It felt like it was sucking the energy out of me. My brother was fast asleep. I was dying. My lips began to turn blue. I wasn't going to give up without a fight. I mustered all the energy I can and let out a huge scream. "Leave me alone!" All of a sudden, my brother woke up. My mother came into the room and the entity was gone. I tried to explain to my mother what happened, but she chalked it up as just a really bad dream. But it wasn't a dream. I know what I saw. It was real. I don't know why it picked me. My brother had no clue what was happening to me. Since no one believed me and it never happened again, I eventually pushed it to the back of my mind. Fast forward 10 years later. It was a Friday night, another cold night. My mother and brother were spending the weekend away. I had plans the next day to hang out with my best friend. I remember I was in great moods. I ordered Chinese food and had the whole apartment to myself. After I had dinner, I put some music and played video games in the living room until about 1 a.m. I was too lazy to go to my bedroom. I figured I'll just crash on the couch. I grabbed a blanket and off to snooze land I went. About an hour later, I felt really cold and opened my eyes to see the same dark entity I saw in the room 7 years ago. My teeth began to chatter, not just because of the cold, but also because I was scared out of my mind. This time, the entity moved quickly on top of me. I felt the pressure of the entity on my chest, arms, and legs. I couldn't move, speak, or breathe. I felt that same life force being sucked out of me slowly. My lips began to turn blue and my eyes began to bulge from my eye sockets. I was able to move my head back and forth. I got my last breath together to yell, "No!" The sofa began to shake and it flipped me over onto the floor. I saw the entity move towards the window. It stretched its dark hand onto the window and began to write words on the window full of frost. "Your bloodline," is what the message said. I yelled again, "You are not welcome here. Now get out." And just like that, the temperature began to become warmer, and the dread I felt began to go away. I ran and turned on every light, radio, and television in the apartment. I waited until daylight to take a shower and leave. I went straight to my best friend's house. I got to his house at 6 a.m. I didn't care how early it was. I couldn't be alone in that apartment anymore. My friend opened the door with a bewildered look on his face. "What the hell, bro? It's 6 a.m. "I'm sorry, bro, but I can't be home anymore," I told him the whole story, and he believed me. He told me that his cousin had the same experience and that if you believe in heaven, there has to be hell, and this entity definitely is from hell. We spent the weekend together and I pushed it out of my mind again. I looked it up and got some information on how to bless the apartment. So I took all the proper precautions and blessed the whole building. The entity never came back. My life went back to normal. I graduated high school, went to college, got married, and had a son. No signs of this entity. The blessings of the house worked. Actually, the blessings of the whole building worked. I felt good. One cold night, I was sleeping in bed with my wife and was awakened by a god-awful scream coming from my son's room. I bolted out of the bed and ran to his room. He was shaking in his own urine. My wife followed right behind me. I picked up my son, kissed him, and held him tight. I told him, "It's okay, buddy. You just had a bad dream. I'll get some new bed sheets. It's okay, Tiger. Just stay with your dad." My wife left the room. That's when my son spoke. "Dad, I wasn't dreaming. I saw the dark man with the big hat." My blood ran cold and I started to sweat. "Okay, buddy, tell me what happened." "Well, Dad, he held me down. I couldn't breathe. His face got close to my face and he said, 'The bloodline is mine.'" Hey kids, hope you guys enjoyed that story. This story is actually close to home because that's actually a story that was told to me by one of my best friends. That this happened to him. The whole part about him coming to my house at 6 a.m. Yes, he was coming to my house and he told me the story about this entity that he encountered the night before. So I felt like I needed to tell that story. I wonder if anyone of you guys had any run-ins with a dark entity or the dark shadow man or what have you. If you have, leave a comment down below. I'd like to know, or I'd like to hear some of you guys' stories about this. It'll be interesting to know. So I hope you guys like the reading. I hope you guys like the story, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. Stay creepy, guys.